I'm Alex Cheparev, and welcome to Crashing Maya. Hey guys, in this episode we will make the hands. Let's turn on that. Okay, so let's get started. The hands are going to be a little different because of the design. So let's start with the cube. Let's make a cube, position it, something like this. Yeah. Alright, so we need to divide it this way twice, because we'll have a finger here, and a finger here, and then we'll need to divide it this way as well. And I believe that's height. Yeah, twice like that as well. Now let's just shape it into place like that. And what I'm trying to do is position where the fingers are going to go. So the thumb's going to go here, the three fingers are going to go there, and we'll just do a three-finger hand. Should be good for this character. Alright, and then just spread this out evenly. Alright, let's make sure it's not too thick. Like that. So the individual fingers, I can see there, they might work, might not, so let's try. So we'll scale this down, scale this one, something like that. For the wrist, we have to make this round, so we can scale those to make the shape round. Let's maybe scale this out a little. And I want to also give a little bit of a bend to the hand, so like that, and something like that. I'll pull this out. That's gonna work. Okay, so now what we need to do is make some extra geometry for where the fingers are gonna go. So I'm gonna select these faces here like this. This is where the thumb's gonna go. These are the three fingers. I'm gonna extrude. I'm gonna grab the offset. So the way you use the offset here is you middle click and drag. But sometimes when you do that, the decimal point is too close. It's too not small enough. So what we get is we get a lot of transformation, and it's hard to get to be precise. But if you hold Control, you get an extra decimal point of control, and now we can do this. But it's not doing it individually. So all we have to do is go to Poly Extrude, go down to where it says Keep Faces Together, and set that to off, or type in 0. See, and now we can extrude like that. And if we press 3 to preview, you can see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. And I wanted the same here. But this I'll just scale because it's round. Maybe pull this out a little. I'm going to freeze transformations and clear history. And let's save. Okay, so I think this is good enough for now. There's not much we can do with this. We don't have enough geometry here to do anything else, but we can move on to the fingers. Okay, so the fingers, we'll just try to figure out what these are made of. So it looks like they're wood, and I'm thinking they're a little flat at the top and maybe round at the bottom. So we can start here, some empty space. We're going to make a cube, scale it like this, give it a division like that, and then we can just kind of shape it into what I think it should look like. So delete this face. If we preview, that's what we get. And then what I want to do is expand this out a little bit. Same with that. And this will maybe bring it in. And also maybe bring that in a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to subdivide it once, like this. I'm going to double click this loop and this loop. I'm going to use transform component. It's also under edit mesh, transform components. Click that, and then we can grab the blue arrow and just pull. Like so. Okay, and I just want to put this in a little bit, pull that in. And I also want to add a little bit extra detail. So by adding an edge loop right here. I like that. I'm going to take this, click extrude, just scale it in. I want to take these vertices, I'm going to move the pivot down here and then also here, just so I can scale these like that. Alright. And then we can extrude one more time. Okay, you know, actually we could just close this off. Let's do that. So I'm gonna just delete these faces. I'm gonna select this, just one of the edges here, click fill hole, and then we'll just reconnect. First go opposite, then up, and then we can also just do that. Alright, that's good. Let's make the rest of the finger. So I'm going to make a cube. I'm going to take these vertices here, pull them in a little bit. That's the kind of shape I want. I'm going to delete the faces on the inside and then just rotate this 90 degrees. Give it some depth here. And then I'm going to use the poly cut tool. I'm going to make a cut here for the knuckle. I'm going to go also then from the bottom here and radiate out like that, and then on this side as well. Now just going to give this a little bit of rotation. Like that. And there we go. So that's good. And then from the top of here, I'm going to take this edge and scale it out like that, and then this one here, scale it in, and this will give us more of that knuckle feel. See, it's subtle, but it's there. Then we will do a subdivision once, just to match this. Now let's rotate it like this, maybe too much. So the knuckle is very close to the tip of the finger in this drawing. We also don't need this, just to make sure it doesn't go through. We can also just scale this in a little so it's inside. Okay, I think that's good. Now to position these, I want to position them together, so I'm going to move the pivot of both of them. Select both, hold D, hold V, and just snap it here. And then I'm going to freeze. And now what we can do, I'm going to hold V and then just drag. I'm going to press 3 here, select both of these. Now I can rotate, and if we show the wireframe, I can kind of see where I'm going to place it. Now I don't have enough geometry here to kind of snap to, so I'm going to select it, subdivide once, select both of these, and now I can snap to that. And then we can also look at the drawing, kind of get it into shape, and actually that's pretty good. So I want to scale this out a little bit, so I'm going to use transform component again. Just kind of fatten the finger up. Make sure it's not going through anything. Maybe bring it down a little. Alright, that's good. Okay, so once I'm happy with the placement, I can't use the drawing placement exactly because 3D was not. Usually when you draw something like this, you don't consider how things will look in 3D, so you have to kind of exaggerate. When you're drawing, you exaggerate, and then when you're making it in 3D, you have to try and make it work in 3D space. Alright, that's good. So to position this again, if I keep the pivot there, it's going to be hard. So I'm going to move the pivot to here, because this point in relation to this geometry, to this finger, should be the same as there. So when I duplicate and place this here, we can see that it's in a similar place, and it's easier for us to position it. I'm going to duplicate, place this one there, and I'm scaling them down because, you know, each finger is a little smaller. Okay, and we can use the same one for the thumb. We'll just fatten it up a little bit. Alright, I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna select everything. I'm gonna group it. I'm gonna move the pivot of the group there. This way I can position it and move it together. The group is just temporary. I'm gonna move it here. Okay, make sure it's in the center. And now I'm noticing that we either have to lower it or we have to bend the elbow more, because it's not going to work the way it is. So I'd rather bend the elbow. Select the vertices here. Now I only selected the bottom vertices because I want to select everything, but up to the elbow. But this is easier. You just hold Shift greater than. You can grow your selection. Let's undo one. Okay, I'm gonna select rotate. Just gonna hide this. the background so I can see the geometry better. I'm going to move the pivot to where I feel like the elbow is. And I'm going to rotate using the outside circle, the yellow circle, like this. There. I'm going to then double click this edge and this one, that's the elbow, and I want to rotate that a little bit as well to be in between there, and then maybe we can pull the elbow out a little bit. And let's move the hand up. So to easily select a group or all the objects within the group, select an object and press up on the arrow on your keyboard, the up arrow. Okay, so I want to mirror this to the other side, so I'm going to select the geometry here. I'm going to press Shift P. This will drop it out of the group. I'm going to then reselect it without anything else. I'm going to group it, Control G. Then I'm going to duplicate that group, Control D. Then I'm going to scale it in X -1. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now, so far the geo is still pretty rough, because to add more detail we'll need to subdivide the geometry and add loops and stuff, and like I want to actually model the bandages and some wrinkles on his pants, and that will happen later. So right now we're just blocking everything out. Let's clear history, and then once we're done we'll start detailing everything together. I think it looks pretty good. What I want to do actually is close off the eye sockets. So one way to do that, now when I look at it I can see that the eye socket is actually 8 edges, this circle here. So what you can do, you can make a cube like this. If you subdivide it once, you will actually get an 8 edge sphere. So then all we have to do is go from this view, select this half, and then we have our eye socket, and then, but right now it's black on the inside because that's the interior, so we're going to flip it, and you do that under normals, reverse, or it's, you can drop a button for yourself like that. Then I'm going to just move it and position it, see, like that. This. From the top view, I'm going to look at the shape of this, of the opening here, and you can see that it's diagonal like that. So I'm going to select the eye socket shape that I just made, and then I'm going to create a lattice, spacebar, create deformers lattice, and then I'm going to move the points here like this, and I want to also just do that. Maybe move this over like that. Let's check from the top. Yep, so we'll go like that. Alright, so that's good. Clear history, that will get rid of the lattice. I'm then going to double click this loop on this one. Actually, they need to do that because we'll flip, we'll delete half and then combine. I'm going to select the eye socket and the skull and click combine, clear history. I'm going to then double click this edge and this one and click bridge. So when you sometimes do bridge, it makes this spiral because it's really hard for mine to tell where to connect. So you can go into inputs, poly bridge edge, click the bridge offset and just middle drag until it ends up where you want it. There's our eye socket. That looks great. Okay. Delete half. Select the skull, and then we'll go to Mesh, Mirror Geometry, and Soften Edge, Clear History. Now, whoops, let's undo Clear History. I keep forgetting about the mirror. They really need to add an option to change the merge threshold before you actually do the mirror. But just make sure you always check that. Alright. That looks great. So now our skull is completely filled in. And we can also add it to the body. That shouldn't be hard. Alright, so let's try that. That's where it goes. Alright, so sometimes when working like this, I want to use a Boolean operation, but there's some iffy geometry, like I have things touching here, and I don't want to merge those. And also on the face, there are some like faces that are close together. I don't want to mess those up. So what I like to do is I like to duplicate the geo. I'm going to move it over like that, and then I'm going to only have the geometry that I want to use for the Boolean. So the neck, and then these edges here, these faces here. So what you're trying to do is find faces that actually go through each other and not go through any of the border edges. So I'm going to select both, and then Mesh, Boolean Union. There we go. Sometimes it makes all these triangles. It's really annoying, but what are you going to do? Let's clean those up. So just select any of the new geometry. It's sometimes hard to tell what's new, what's not. So just use your best judgment. That, I think those are new. I'm using Control Delete. So if we press 3, we can see it's looking really messy. So we need to fix this up now. Alright, so let's do it. I'm gonna go use the multi-cut tool, go from here to there, like that. Get rid of these, but I want to keep those vertices because I know this connects to the body. So I'm going to go from here like that. Let's preview that. That looks good. So I'm going to go from here to here, from here to here. We need to figure this out. This is going to be a little more difficult, but we're Booleaned, so now we can use this to bring it back to the rest of the body. Okay, so we want to delete this, and then on here we're going to delete that. And then let's bring this back. So if you center pivot, we can just snap it on the grid, and you can see it fits in both. So I'm going to combine them. Now because I have some some vertices are close together, I don't want to merge everything, so I'm going to just pick some vertices where they connect, like that, and click merge. Now we should be connected. There we are. Okay, that's good. What we need to do though is clean this up a little. This is too close. So like that. then let's figure this out. Okay, so let's fan this out a little bit. Okay, I have an idea what to do. Okay, so if you have closed geometry, or it's also called manifold geometry, you will always have you will never have a single triangle. You will always have an opposite triangle. So I have a triangle here, I have one here as well, and two triangles make a quad. But what you can also do is connect two triangles together. So what I'm going to do is use this to draw basically a little track for these triangles here, for these edge loops to flow around like that. So I'm going to use insert edge loop tool, set it to relative, turn off autocomplete. Oops. And then position it like so, click enter, multi-cut tool. Okay, so that one's cleaned up. See, that's clean. Let's get rid of these triangles here. Okay, and for this one, we're gonna do something similar. I'll show you what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna connect going this way. So I'm going to use the multi-cut tool again. Sorry, the insert edge loop tool, autocomplete. I'm going to go from here, like that, like that, and then hit enter. And what we'll end up with is that this is now a quad, but they are a little they're not evenly spaced. So I'm going to turn symmetry on. I don't like that this face is like that, so I'm going to just move this over like that. Oh, okay. Let's test. We do have this face here, which I don't like. Normally you want to have loops going around, but this one goes this way. See, would that work? Merge those, then merge. Okay. Okay, so that merged, and it actually made quads. You can see this is now a loop, which is what we wanted. It's a little stretchy, but maybe if we just move this point back just a hair, and this one forward a little bit, maybe move this one out. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, so now the head and the body are attached, and the hands are done. So what we have left to do is create the shirt, and then we can start adding the rest of the detail. Alright, so see you next episode, and subscribe and like. Thank you.